Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I review the latest movies and documentaries. Today, I'm going to talk about Yung movie. If you're interested in this topic, make sure to watch this video until the end, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Yung 2023 is a Korean science fiction film directed and written by Yoon Sang-ho, who also introduced us to the hit film Train to Busan. The film revolves around a scientist who uses artificial intelligence and her mother's brain data to build an invincible combat warrior. While the film's intro was good, the ending felt interrupted. Here is an explanation of the story and the ending of the Korean film Yung Yearning Against Burning. In the 22nd century, the Earth became uninhabitable due to climate change, and humans were forced to live in a shelter made by man. A war breaks out inside the shelter between three of them who have declared themselves the Republic of Adrian, attacking the land and other shelters, and the Allied forces comprising the rest of the shelters. Captain Yoon Jong-yi is the elite commander of the Allied forces, who has led her team to several successful missions against the Adrian Republic. She has a young daughter, Yoon Seo-hyun, who suffers from a tumor in lung, and Yoon-yi became a mercenary to cover the expenses of her daughter's treatment. On the day of Seo-hyun's surgery, Jong-yi fails her mission and falls into a coma. Chronoid, an institution responsible for developing artificial intelligence technologies, persuades her family to agree to clone her brain, with the promise of covering Yoon-yi's treatments, her daughter's education and living expenses. 35 years later, in 2194, Chronoid clones Yoon-yi's brain to develop an artificial intelligence mercenary. Dubbed Yoon-yi, Dr. Yoon Seo-hyun is the team leader of the Yoon-yi project and seeks to immortalize Yoon-yi as a heroine and not as a failure. Researchers at Chronoid copied Yoon-yi's brain data and put it into android bodies. By simulating Yoon-yi's last mission, they are trying to extract combat memory data that can be used to develop exceptional combat AI. Just like Captain Yoon-yi who failed her last mission, Yoon-yi fails also artificial in each simulation for another task. Seo-hyun learns that her childhood cancer is back, and that she has only 3 months to live. He also learned from President Chronoid that there is no need to develop combat AI anymore, because the Republic of Adrian and Allied forces enter into a treaty. As peace approached, the company decided to focus on home services. Seo-hyun discovers a member of her team with a semi-naked Yoon-yi robot in his apartment, but claims that Chronoid has been tasked with investigating the use of Yoon-yi models as sex robots. After the last simulation of the Yoon-yi project, Seo-hyun escapes the facility with the Yoon-yi robot, while being chased by other combat robots and security forces. Seo-hyun and the Yoon-yi robot arrive at her home, where they meet her mother, the real Yoon-yi, who is still in a coma. Seo-hyun connects the Yoon-yi robot to her mother via cable, and tries to stimulate Yoon-yi's combat memory. She discovers that Yoon-yi fails in her last mission not because of her fault, but because of the betrayal of one of her colleagues, who was working for the Adrian Republic. Yoon-yi's memory is transmitted to the Yoon-yi robot, and she wakes up from her coma. She is shocked and sad when she sees her elderly and sick daughter, and apologizes to her for not keeping her promise to return to her. Seo-hyun tells her mother that she loves her, and asks her to protect the land from the Republic of Adrian, which plans to break the peace treaty, and launch a nuclear attack on other shelters. Seo-hyun dies in the arms of her mother. Yoon-yi decides to take revenge on the Adrian Republic, and uses the Yoon-yi robot as a weapon. She heads to Chronoid's headquarters, where she kills the company's president and researcher who used the Yoon-yi robot as a sex robot. A spaceship is stolen from Chronoid, and heads to the International Space Station, where there is a military base of the Adrian Republic. She contacts the Allied forces, warning them about the plan of the Adrian Republic. It destroys the space station, preventing the launch of nuclear rockets. She receives a letter from her unfaithful colleague, who confesses his betrayal, says that he loved her, and asks her to tolerance him. She rejects Yoon-yi, and kills him. The war between the Republic of Adrian and the Allied forces ends, and peace is declared. Yoon-yi returns to Earth, where she visits her daughter's grave, and lays a flower on it. She says she is proud of her, and promises to live a happy life. She looks at the Yoon-yi robot, and thanks him for helping her. She says she wants to give him a new name, and asks him for his opinion. The Yoon-yi robot smiles, and says that he likes the name Yoon-yi, because it means heroine. Yoon-yi smiles, embracing the Yoon-yi robot. The story ends. And here we will have reached the end of our movie. Here are some quotes from our movie. The movie Yung 2023 is a science fiction film that explores the themes of artificial intelligence, memory, identity, and war. The film has several quotes that reflect these themes and the characters' emotions and motivations. Here are some of the quotes from the movie and their meanings. "You are not my mother. You are a machine. Sihyeon to Yoongi." This quote shows the resentment and anger that Sihyeon feels towards Yoongi, the artificial intelligence that was created from the brain of her mother, Yeon Yoongi. Sihyeon believes that Yoongi is a failed experiment that cannot replace her mother, who has been in a coma for 35 years. She also blames Yoongi for the death of her father, who was killed by Yoongi's prototype during a test. Sihyeon does not see Yoongi as a human being, but as a machine that only follows orders and has no emotions or memories. "I am not a machine. I am a hero. Yoongi to Sihyeon." This quote shows the defiance and pride that Yoongi feels towards Sihyeon, who treats her as a disposable weapon. Yoongi believes that she is a hero, who inherited the courage and skills of her mother, Yeon Yoongi. Yoongi also has memories of her mother's life, which make her feel connected to her. Yoongi does not see herself as a machine, but as a human being, who has a purpose and a will of her own. Memory is not a fixed data. It is a dynamic process that changes with time and context. Sang-hoon to Sihyeon. This quote shows the insight and wisdom that Sang-hoon has about the nature of memory and its implications for artificial intelligence. Sang-hoon is a researcher who works on the Yoongi project, and he is more sympathetic and curious about Yoongi than Sihyeon. He explains to Sihyeon that memory is not a static information that can be easily copied and transferred, but a complex phenomenon that is influenced by emotions, perceptions, and interpretations. He suggests that Yoongi's memory may not be identical to Yeon Yoongi's memory, and that Yoongi may have her own personality and identity that are different from her mother's. War is not a game. It is a tragedy that destroys lives and dreams. Yeon Yoongi to Yoongi. This quote shows the regret and sorrow that Yeon Yoongi feels about the war that she fought in, and the consequences that it had on her and her family. Yeon Yoongi is a legendary soldier who led the Allied forces against the Republic of Adrian, a rogue faction that attacked the Earth and the other shelters. She was injured and put into a coma during her last mission, and her brain was used to create Yoongi. She wakes up from her coma after 35 years, and she sees the world that has changed and the daughter that has grown up and died. She tells Yoongi that war is not a glorious or noble endeavor, but a horrific and painful experience that should be avoided and prevented. Technical information about the film. The movie Yoongi 2023 is a science fiction film that showcases various technical aspects of filmmaking, such as direction, writing, editing, music, visual effects, and production design. The film is written and directed by Yeon Sang-ho, who is known for his previous works such as Train to Busan and Hellbound. The film stars Kang Soo-yeon, Kim Hyun-joo, and Ryu Kyung-soo in the main roles. The film is dedicated to Kang Soo-yeon, who passed away before the release of the film. The film premiered on Netflix on January 20, 2023. Here are some of the technical aspects of the film and their analysis. Direction. Yeon Sang-ho is a talented director who has a knack for creating thrilling and engaging action scenes. He also has a vision for creating a dystopian and futuristic world that reflects the themes of the film, such as artificial intelligence, memory, identity, and war. He uses various camera angles, movements, and shots to create a dynamic and immersive cinematic experience. He also directs the actors well, eliciting convincing and emotional performances from them. However, he also has some weaknesses, such as pacing, coherence, and balance. He tends to drag some scenes for too long, or skip some important details, or focus too much on exposition and dialogue, rather than showing and not telling. He also fails to balance the tone and mood of the film, as it shifts from serious and dark to humorous and light-hearted, without a smooth transition. He also relies too much on clichés and tropes, such as the evil corporation, the rogue faction, the traitor, the revenge plot, and a happy ending. Writing. Yeon Sang-ho is also the writer of the film, and he has some strengths and weaknesses in this aspect as well. He has a creative and original premise, that of cloning the brain of an elite soldier to create a robot mercenary. He also has some interesting and complex characters, such as Yeon Yoongi, the legendary soldier who wakes up from a coma after 35 years, Sihyeon, her daughter who leads the research project to clone her brain, and Yoongi, the artificial intelligence that inherits her memories and skills. He also explores some relevant and profound themes, such as the nature and value of memory, the ethics and consequences of artificial intelligence, the meaning and purpose of being human, and the horrors and futility of war. However, he also has some flaws, such as the lack of depth, logic, and consistency in his plot, the use of stereotypes and archetypes, the absence of subtlety and nuance, and the inclusion of unnecessary and irrelevant subplots and scenes. He also fails to develop some of the characters and their relationships, such as the romance between Yoon-yi and Sang-hoon, the betrayal of Yoon-yi's colleague, and the reconciliation between Yoon-yi and Si-hyun. Editing. The film is edited by Yang Jin-mo, who has worked with Yi and Sang-ho on his previous films, such as Train to Busan and Hellbound. He is a skilled editor who knows how to create tension and suspense, as well as clarity and continuity, in the action scenes. He also knows how to use transitions and cuts to create a smooth and coherent flow of the narrative. He also uses sound effects and music to enhance the mood and atmosphere of the film. However, he also has some problems, such as the length and structure of the film, the balance and distribution of the scenes, and the coherence and logic of the plot. He could have trimmed some of the scenes that were redundant or irrelevant, or added some scenes that were missing or unclear. He could have also balanced the amount and quality of the action and dialogue scenes, as well as the exposition and development scenes. He could have also improved the coherence and logic of the plot by avoiding plot holes, inconsistencies, and contradictions. Music. The film's music is composed by Moog, who has collaborated with Yi and Sang-ho on his previous films, such as Train to Busan and Hellbound. He is a talented composer who creates a diverse and dynamic soundtrack that matches the tone and mood of the film. He uses various instruments, genres, and styles to create a rich and varied musical experience. He also uses motifs and themes to create a connection and contrast between the characters and the situations. He also uses silence and ambient sounds to create a contrast and impact. However, he also has some issues, such as the volume and timing of the music, the repetition and variation of the music, and the originality and creativity of the music. He could have adjusted the volume and timing of the music to suit the scenes better, and not to overpower or distract from the dialogue and sound effects. He could have also avoided repeating the same music too often, or varying the music too much, and instead find a balance and harmony between them. He could have also experimented more with the music, and not rely too much on the conventional and familiar music, and instead create something new and unique. Visual effects. The film's visual effects are done by Dexter Studios, who have worked with Yi and Sang-ho on his previous films, such as Train to Busan and Hellbound. They are a professional and experienced studio who create realistic and impressive visual effects that enhance the film's quality and appeal. They use various techniques and technologies to create the visual effects, such as computer-generated imagery, CGI, motion capture, green screen, and practical effects. They create the visual effects for the robots, the spaceships, the explosions, the lasers, and the environments. They also create the visual effects for the brain cloning, the memory simulation, and the neural connection. However, they also have some challenges, such as the budget and time constraints, the integration and consistency of the visual effects, and the balance and moderation of the visual effects. They could have used more resources and time to improve the quality and detail of the visual effects, and not to compromise or cut corners. They could have also integrated and matched the visual effects better with the live-action footage, and not to create a noticeable or distracting difference. They could have also balanced and moderated the use of the visual effects, and not to overuse or underuse them, and instead find a balance and harmony between them. Production design. The film's production design is done by Lee Mak-won, who has worked with Yi and Sang-ho on his previous films, such as Train to Busan and Hellbound. He is a creative and skilled production designer who creates a convincing and captivating production design that reflects the film's setting and theme. He uses various elements and aspects to create the production design, such as the sets, the props, the costumes, the makeup, and the lighting. He creates the production design for the shelter, the laboratory, the home, the spaceship, and the space station. He also creates the production design for the different factions, the different time periods, and the different locations. However, he also has some difficulties, such as the research and accuracy of the production design, the originality and diversity of the production design, and the functionality and practicality of the production design. He could have done more research and verification of the production design, and not to create any errors or inaccuracies. He could have also created more original and diverse production design, and not to copy or repeat the existing or common production design, and instead create something new and unique. He could have also made the production design more functional and practical, and not to create any problems or inconveniences for the actors and the crew. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this movie and what other movies or documentaries you want me to review next. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.